The character and atmosphere of Scotland, located in the north part of the British Isles, can't be mistaken. Emerald green fields, lilac-tinged hills, shining lakes, historical castles, men in tartan kilts, bagpipe music, and golden whiskey. Edinburgh has been the capital of Scotland since 1999 again, and with around 500,000 population, it's the second most populous city of the country. The Scottish Parliament is in session here. Edinburgh is the center of education and scientific life, and it's the second most important center of finance after London. Its museums, theaters, concert and exhibition halls make the city a cultural center. On the site of Princess Street towards the valley, the first flower clock of the world was made in 1903. It consists of about 24,000 flowers. Scotland is proud of its poets and writers, and the country is abundant in memorial places commemorating them. In Lady Stair's house, dating back to 1622, Scott, Burns, and Stevenson are remembered in an exhibition. Scotland has given not only literary men to the world, but also several scientists, such as Alexander Fleming, the inventor of penicillin, Lord Kelvin, James Watt, who developed the steam engine, and Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone. Sir Walter Scott was the greatest master of the genre of the historical novel. The monument in Princess Street was made soon after his death. George Michael Kemp's work in Gothic style is 61 meters high, and 287 stairs lead up to its top, which is at the same time a lookout tower. The writer statue was made by Sir John Steele. The region of Princess and Rose Street is one of the 10 busiest centers of retail trade in the whole of Great Britain. Its best-known department store, Jenner's, is also called Harrods of the North. Of the sites, the building of the Old Parliament, St. Giles Cathedral, and Gladstone's Land deserve being mentioned. Gladstone's Land is the home of a rich merchantman from the 17th century, which has remained in its original form. In its neighborhood, the Scottish Whiskey Heritage Center can be found, and we can also see the Outlook Tower, from the terrace of which there's a beautiful view over the city, complete with bagpipe music. In Edinburgh, over 700 pubs can be found, most of them in Rose Street, which locals call the Street of the Pubs. In the pubs, not only drinks, but also food is served. We can try a cock-a-leekie soup, which is made from chicken, leek, and rice, haggis, which is stuffed with innards and is similar to a sausage, Aberdeen Angus steak, and butterscotch tart with caramel as dessert. And they can be washed down with strong local beer. Castle Rock, from where we can see the valley of the River Forth, has been the residence of Scottish kings since the 10th century. Calton Hill is a hill rising 100 meters above the city and can be seen well from almost any point of the city. The 33-meter-high tower was built in honor of Admiral Nelson. There's an unfinished monument on the hill in Athenian Parthenon style, as well as an old royal observatory. Royal Mile is the center of the Old Town. Princess Street, which is parallel to it, separates the Old Town from the New Town. In the deep valley between them, a river flows. The railway is also here, and the main railway station, Waverley, as well. We can get a picture of the geography and history of the city at the Royal Museum of Scotland. Bobby, the Skye Terrier, wouldn't move away from his owner's grave. For 14 years, Bobby went to have lunch at Greyfriars Pub, but when he heard the gunshot at 1, he returned to guard his master's grave. After his death, he was buried next to his owner, and a statue was made in his memory. The most important cultural event of Edinburgh is the festival, held every August, and the military tattoo following it, which is a military parade. Besides this, a book and film festival are also held at that time, as well as Fringe, which is a mini festival by amateur artists, musicians, mimes, and acrobats. Deacon Brodie's Pub was named after City Councillor William Brodie, who was often here. The man who lived a double life gave Robert Louis Stevenson the main idea to write his world-famous novel, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Brodie worked as an official by day, but at night he robbed and pillaged. The irony of fate is that he was executed on the gallows that he had perfected. Shops delight tourists with several typically Scottish souvenirs, such as tartan clothes and textiles, as well as products made of good quality wool. An accessory of the folk costume is a sporran, which is a kind of ornate purse, and another is dirk, which is a short knife. Glass manufacturing is also famous. Ancient Celtic motifs are used to ornament glass, as well as metal objects. We can choose from several kinds of Scottish whiskey, but we can also buy Scottish beer, liqueur, and tea as souvenirs. Pipe smokers are pleased with the good tobacco from the Highlands, and shortbread, which is a kind of biscuit consumed with marmalade and tea, is also popular. Marmalade is a Scottish invention. The wife of a greengrocer was the first to make it when her husband was sold a large amount of unmarketable bitter oranges. Orange marmalade is sometimes flavored with whiskey, honey, or ginger. It's known that every clan's kilts, ties, and other garments are made with their own individual tartan. After the battle at Culloden, it was forbidden to wear the ancient costume for nearly 100 years. Who did was sent to prison. Meanwhile, the patterns had largely been forgotten. Then a textile maker had the idea to make a new collection from which the leaders of the clans could choose, and the chosen pattern would be reserved for them and named after them. Since then, there have been tartans bearing the name of MacDonald, Campbell, Kennedy, MacLeod, and Mackenzie. At Royal Mile, an exhibition in a huge hall shows how the plaid is made. It's a complete complex where we can learn everything about tartans and the costume made of it called kilts. The kilt was first born by necessity. In the Scottish Highlands, where the weather's rigorous, the costume of the people consists of a wool blanket which is wrapped around their waist and across the shoulder and waterproofed by sheep tallow. This costume is only worn at special occasions today, so it's become quite ornate. The members of the royal family also wear it when they visit Scotland. The huge square in front of the entrance of the castle in Edinburgh is the Esplanade. It used to be the site of executions and military parades. Fortunately, today only the latter takes place in August during the military tattoo. A wrought iron well is located on the site where witches used to be burnt. The ornate gate was built only 100 years ago in place of a featureless entrance in the castle wall. In front of it, there's an honor guard, changing every hour, and visitors like taking photos of this ceremony. The castle itself was built on the 135-meter-high basalt cone of an inactive volcano. Like almost every castle, this also developed continuously. King Edwin, for whom the city was named, may have had the first fortress built in the 6th century. Robert Bruce had the previous buildings destroyed in 1313 so that they wouldn't belong to the English. Then, the rebuilt castle was a royal residence for centuries. On the site of the rocks exploited during construction, a system of dungeons was established. It was used as a storeroom and prison. During the time of Napoleon, many French soldiers were imprisoned here. Their inscriptions graved in the wall can be seen even today. The military prison was redecorated, and its display is populated with wax figures. In the former building of the Guards, the Museum of Royal Dragoons can be found. The oldest building of the castle is the small Margaret Chapel. The princess for whom the castle was named was Edward Atheling's daughter, and she was brought up with her sister and brother, Christine and Edgar, in the royal court of the Hungarian king, St. Stephen. Later, she got married to the Scottish king, Malcolm II. They had a lot of children, and 4 of their sons sat on the throne of Scotland. The castle has 3 rows of guns. A gunshot is shot at 1 o'clock from one of the guns of Mill's Mount. Why is the gun shot at 1 o'clock and not at noon? Because then they should shoot 12, and well, we are in Scotland. Jacob IV had the palace in Crown Square built in 1430. 130 years later, Mary Stuart bore his son here. The most beautiful room of the castle may be the salon. which was built for royal ceremonies. It was also used for parliamental sessions. It's worth looking at its ceiling with beams, which have been nicely redecorated, and have a look at its plentiful collection of weapons. The crown jewels and the Stone of Destiny are also displayed in the palace. The Scottish royal crown with its quite rugged destiny is at least 400 years older than the English one. The mace was last used in 1707 when the two parliaments were united. Then the crown jewels were locked in a case and walled up. Sir Walter Scott was allowed to bring them to light and display them only 111 years later. The Stone of Destiny was the block of stone that the Scottish kings put their feet on during their coronation ceremony. The English took it to Westminster Abbey, where it was a part of the English throne for centuries. In 1950, it was stolen by young Scots, but they had to wait for 47 years until it was officially allowed to bring it back to Edinburgh. Many people think the original stone was ornamented with engravings and was hidden in 1296. Legend has it that Scotland will regain its independence when this original stone is found. The Scots have always loved legends. We can encounter the memory of Robert Burns, the best-known Scottish poet, at many places in the country. He was born in Alloway and died in Dumfries, but he spent the majority of his 37 years in Edinburgh. In August, the whole city is in the fever of the festival. There are 6 programs running parallel. It's impossible to avoid the actors of the fringe, even if we wanted to. But why would we want to?